Hi, I'm Justin Canetti from Skej, and I'm going to quickly walk through how users can connect to, set up, and communicate with their Skej scheduling assistant. So users can connect using their existing Outlook accounts. They can sign in just on the Skej login page, and this is where they'll be taken to the dashboard, which is where they can set up their preferences and availabilities and generally get the platform set up and customized for their use. So most users start over here in connections, and this makes sure all their accounts are just connected, particularly their Microsoft account, which should be, but that has their primary calendar and of course the email so their assistant can recognize them. Their Slack should be set up, which is set at the team level. Then they connect a phone number if they want to text or WhatsApp their assistant, as well as a Zoom account if they want to use that for meeting links. Then back in the skills section, they can actually set up their default preferences. So this is what the assistant will use for their default availability when scheduling meetings. So things like recurring work hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, any national holidays, US or other countries. They can set up their default meeting settings. So default for virtual meetings, meeting length, which meeting link to use, in-person meetings, similarly meeting length, maybe they can put in an office as the default location. And then they can set which calendars they want the assistant to check for conflicts. This is really important, of course, to see general availability when they're free and when they're busy. And so they can select their work calendar, any shared calendars. They can also select kind of buffer preferences. So things like whether they like to have breaks between their meetings or after a block of meetings, or maybe meeting limits per day. Users can add custom instructions or memories, which are really rules that don't fit into other areas of the dashboard. And so these can really be anything. Things like don't schedule meetings on Friday afternoons. The assistant will try to avoid scheduling meetings during that time, but it's not a hard rule. Travel instructions. So these can be date-bound temporary instructions. For instance, I'm traveling to London, so only book virtual meetings in the London time zone during these specific dates. Then we have rules for things like automatic follow-ups. This allows the assistant to proactively follow up when someone doesn't respond, reminders before meetings, the daily agenda in the morning. The user can also respond to these once they receive them to make changes to meetings as well. Users can also create shareable booking pages, and so they can set up as many as they'd like. That can be different meeting durations, have different availability, one for demos, one for sales meetings, anything they want. And this is a public link that they can share with other people, where people can book time automatically by browsing their calendar availability or chatting with the assistant right on the page itself. Now, once all the preferences are set up, users can really start using their assistant right away. So the most popular and main communication channel is definitely email, and you add the assistant the same way you would a human scheduling coordinator or executive assistant. And so you can write to your contacts, include the assistant, and then add your scheduling request. So this can be to set up a new meeting. You can give specific instructions about the duration of the meeting, when you want it, which days, date range, time of day, anything you need. The assistant then suggests times based on your preferences as well as any additional instructions that you gave it, and then can communicate back and forth, kind of collecting availability from different participants until it finds a mutual time that works for everyone. In this case, I am just telling the assistant to go ahead and book one of the times that it had originally suggested, but ultimately it would collect a yes from each person involved. And then it's done. The assistant books the meeting, sends out the calendar invites. It's here on my calendar. If any changes need to be made, anyone in the meeting can message the assistant and it'll kind of start that process over to find a new time or reschedule it. Now, Skej assistants also work in Slack. So we have a Slack application. It's in the Slack marketplace. In this instance, I am DMing Skej within that app. You can kind of ask it questions about the status of meeting, about my calendar, what's going on in my day. I can also ask it to make new requests like, hey, can you email this person and set up a new meeting for me? And it'll go ahead and do that for me. Similarly, you can add the assistant to a public channel between teammates. Um, and so when everyone's using Skej and you ask it to set up a meeting, it knows everyone's preferences and then sets that meeting automatically and instantly. Similarly, another communication channel that's optional is text or WhatsApp. And so this is really meant to be like a DM channel where you can kind of similarly give it requests one to one. Like, what's on my schedule this afternoon? I can ask it to email other people to set up a new meeting. I can ask it to cancel meetings, reschedule meetings, and it'll kind of go out, email everyone in those meetings on my behalf and take care of it for me. I know that was a really fast run through, but that is basically how Skej works and generally how you communicate with it and set it up. And if you have any additional questions, just let us know.